We are going to first talk about a short story called The Landlady. Do you guys know what a landlady is? I'm just going to kind of show you. Hopefully you can see my screen. Can you see my little screen thing? I hope you can. Can you put in the chat if you can see my screen thing? It's just, I'm doing this kind of a different way and I'm having a hard time. Thank you, Alex. So does anybody know what a landlady is? Alex, well, you can. Anybody know what a landlady is? Have you heard the word? Thank you, Paula. I appreciate your honesty. Oh, thank you, guys. So let me use it a different way. I've lost my marker. Hang on. Let me use it a different way and use, if you've known it this way. Have you guys ever heard the word landlord? Yeah. Oh, so there you've all heard that. Yeah. So your landlord, right? The landlord is usually like, well, for me, like I don't own my house. I am paying rent. Oh, good. To my landlord. The landlord is the person who owns the land or the house. The landlord could be a man or a woman, but because they're the people that own the house, right? So it's basically the landlord, and the landlady would be just a woman. So years ago, probably when this story was written, they used landlady a lot more. Now we would just say landlord. So they're the people, and I kind of erased that, sorry. They're the people that own the land with the house, or there might not even be land with it. It might just be like mine's just a house. I pay rent to that person, okay? I own that. They own it, not me. Do you guys also know what bed and breakfast is? Have you guys heard of a bed and breakfast? A lot of people choose to stay in those instead of I'm not even going to tell you what just happened right now. You guys are going to die. I just spilled coffee all over me, but I'm going to keep going like nothing happened because that's how we go here. If only you could see the mess. I'm not even going to show you. Do you guys know, so have you guys ever heard of a bed and breakfast? It's kind of like a motel, but, oh, Paula has. It's kind of like a motel, yeah, but smaller. So people sometimes in, I don't know, bigger cities have them where you can stay there. They feed you usually, they have a few rooms to stay in, not many rooms. So that's why it's way smaller than a motel. So it's way smaller than a motel. You, they'll usually feed you dinner and you'll meet with everybody in the dining room and eat there together, and then they'll also feed you breakfast, okay? So that's like a bed and breakfast, very smaller, very small. All right, so I'm going to introduce the landlady to you. So you're going to read, oh, I don't know by this, you're gonna read this, it's a short story. It's been written by Roald Dahl, and I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he wrote Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the BFG, Matilda. So he wrote some famous children's books or, you know, or even teenage books, but he's also written some darker adult stories. So this story he wrote, and as you read, I want you to think about how initial appearances can be deceiving. So remember the word initial is when you first, initially, that means when you first hear something or read about something, okay? How it can be deceiving. Appearance of someone, like sometimes when you've met people where you're like, I don't know, like meeting, I'm just trying to think of like, sometimes elderly people, like when you first meet them, sometimes they can be a little grouchy. I mean, not all the times, but sometimes they can be a little grouchy. Or maybe you met someone, they were kind of grouchy the first time you met them, and then you see them again and they're super nice. So initially you thought, oh, they're grouchy. But then when you got to know them, you realized, oh, they're really not. It's like that kind of thing, okay? So how can initial appearances be deceiving? And you need to make note of the parts of the story that something is different than what it had seemed at first. So it doesn't mean you have to actually write stuff down, but you might want to write a few little things down as you're watching it, or really be thinking of, something's changed now. This is not what I thought at first. Okay, so we're going to be going in, and these are just reminders as you answer questions and actively learn. Make sure you use capitals and periods. Okay, no slang, no lowercase i's, words from the story spelt correctly. Okay, so you're going to go back into actively learn, and you're going, I need to go back up to the beginning of the story. And what you're going to do is you're going, again, I've said on here, as you read, how can initial appearances be deceiving? All right, so it's asking you question 1, it's the poll. Have you ever stayed in a bed and breakfast? And you answer that. And then you go down in the story, and then you read through the story, and at the end is where you're going to write the evidence, predict what will happen to Billy. So you have to use what you know from the story and then write a prediction. And you're probably like, I don't even know who Billy is. Well, that's what you're going to read about. So does everybody understand about this story? There's not much directions. There's going to be multiple choice, kind of like before. But basically think about, okay, how initial appearances can be deceiving and what things kind of happen that change in the story from what you thought it was going to be. Okay? So that is called the landlady. Any questions on that? If not, we can wait till the end. The next one is the science of superstition. Do you guys know what it is to be superstitious or know about or have a superstition in your family? Can anybody give me an example of that? I just have to show you something that I spilled coffee on. It's kind of funny. I just kind of wanted to show you that. All right, it's a mess here. I'm going to keep going. Does anybody have an idea of what a superstition is or being superstitious? Good, Cassie, can you give me an example of something? If you don't want to say it out loud, you can say it, type it in the chat. Or if it's too hard to, sometimes it's kind of hard to explain. Does anybody know? So what is, can you give me what is superstitious about that, Cassie? Putting money on the table. Oh, that's bad luck. Interesting. Good job, Cassie. So when you put money on the table, that means bad luck. Have you guys good, thank you, Cassie. Anybody else? I know there's a lot in sports. A lot of people like when they play games or like football or basketball, they wear their lucky shirt because that's the shirt that they have won in before, like championships. So they wear that same shirt, and some of them don't even wash them. They just wear that same shirt like under their jersey because it's the good luck shirt. Have you guys heard of those? Sometimes good luck socks or good luck. Some of them have good luck underwear. When they play their sports, they wear the same, always the same thing because that's what they were wearing when they won. Have you heard about knock on wood? Like I always tell people, my family and I never get sick. Then I knock on wood, right? So that it won't happen. Like not that the wood that I'm knocking on is going to help me, but it's like a superstition type thing. So that's what this is about. So the questions we're going to learn about, is it beneficial? Is it good to be superstitious? And you're going to read, or you can listen to the informational article and then answer the questions thoroughly and completely. All right, so I'm going to go into there so you can see. So it's asking, is it beneficial? So like one of them is, it's funny, I never thought of bless you as being superstitious. I thought it was just kind of like using manners. When someone blesses you, when someone sneezes, you say bless you. Nowadays, when someone sneezes, everybody backs off, right? Because of COVID. But usually it's like, oh, bless you. It's like, gives them a blessing or wishes them well, I guess. So it gives some other things here on superstitions. Like one of them is black cats. Here's the knock on wood. So there's a whole bunch. So there's a whole bunch of things in here that talk about superstitions that people have. So when you're done reading, and I don't know if you know this, number 13, that's like an unlucky number that brings you bad luck. That's another superstitious thing. So be thinking about those things. And then this is what you're going to answer at the end of it. Is it beneficial to be superstitious? Why or why not? Use 2 to 3 text examples to support your position. So you're going to say something like, it is beneficial to be superstitious, right? We're restating the question within the answer. It is beneficial to be superstitious because, and then give your reason, and then give, because the text said that, okay? Or you can take the opposite side. It is not beneficial to be superstitious because the text said that, give an example, well, at least 2 examples from the text. If you want to use one on each, you can. You can have a beneficial, not beneficial. Does everybody understand that? Please make sure you start your sentences with capitals, and then end it with a period, words from the story, spelt correctly. All right? Hang on a second. I'm going to stop recording.